I'm a civil engineer on a background. I always feel myself as a Trojan horse among civil engineers. And I'm a professional marine conservationist and photographer. I work over 15 years in Indonesia and Southeast Pacific. And in 2006, I somehow came to Turkey, and accidentally we found a stranded monk seal pup. She was only 2 weeks old. I decided to grow her, so my entire life just changed and decided to settle in this region. Okay, this is Gökova Bay, right? Quite different than here in terms of geographic and also some oceanographic conditions. Gökova Bay is one of the largest special environment protected area. You see in the area, we are actually right now somewhere here. This is the biggest gulf in Turkey, over 1,400 square kilometers. Specially protected area established in 1988, but only for land, which is well protected. Between Bodrum and all the way to end of the bay, there is no settlement, there is no city. This is the Turkey's wildest marine and terrestrial place. Why? Because we have critical endangered species Mediterranean monk seal. We have probably Turkey's largest seagrass areas. We have endangered grouper, marginatus. We have sandbar sharks and all other Mediterranean species there. That's why it is a very important place to protect. And then, nobody knows about this fact. Seagrasses has the higher carbon storage capacity among any plant in the world, and at least 10 times higher than tropical rainforest. And seagrass never ever stores the carbon dioxide in the leaves or in the roots. It stores the carbon dioxide in the sediment. So it never ever comes back to the surface, never ever comes back to the atmosphere back again. Any plant you see around, as soon as they die, the carbon dioxide they store comes back to atmosphere. So seagrasses, especially the Mediterranean endemic seagrass, Posidonia oceanica, is the highest important species in the world for carbon storage. Okay, what is the status of health reef in the world? Wherever you go in the world, even tropics, Mediterranean, Antarctica, there is only one coefficient we are looking for. Amount of fish in gram per square meters. In 2008, we had a big research starting from Gibraltar all the way to the Turkish-Syrian border. What is the status of northern Mediterranean reefs? So we have chosen 36 locations among northern Mediterranean. You will see on the graph with the black star, well-enforced no-take reserves, and the red star, other MPAs, but there is no protection. And the other places without that is just the places like here. Neither any conservation status on paper nor any enforcement on the field. When you take a look at the numbers, places like Tavalonare, like Medes, like the Italian really well-protected areas, amount of fish per square meter is about 80 to 120 grams. When you come back all the way, Gökova is right here at the end with only 4 grams per square meter. It was 2008. Remember this figure, 4 grams. So technically, Gökova had the least fish in entire Mediterranean, even though it looks pristine on the terrestrial side. Another important thing, these colors. This AP means apex predators like groupers, like big fish we are really looking for. If you have well-protected no-fishing zones, over the year, the percentage of this blue line means bigger fish getting increased. This is the maturity of marine protected area if it is well-protected. And 2008, some other interesting thing happened. The fisheries collapsed in Gökova Bay. The local community lost more than 60% of their income all of a sudden, because 60% of their income was coming only 2 species, shrimp and white grouper. Both those species just disappeared. Okay, you are here for marine conservation and oceans, and do you have any idea how much percentage of the lands in the world are in the protection, under protection? Any idea how much of the land right now we are protecting in whole world? Any number? 15% of the land in the world right now under protection by law. Do you know how much in the ocean? Right now on the paper, we have less than 4%. But in real sense, fully protected, we have less than 1%. 0.7% of the world oceans right now under protection by force. In 2000, scientists declared that 20 years ago, for protection of biodiversity and sustainable oceans, we have to protect 20% of the world oceans by law and by force. But why? Why can't we do that? Look at this figure. Right now, every year, $35 billion goes as a subsidy to world fisheries. US, Canada, EU. Only these three countries just spending $35 billion for less fish to be caught by more technology. To protect 20% of the world oceans, we need $16 billion annually with rangers, with managers, with excellent finance management facilities. Nobody is giving us $16 billion to protect world's 20% of the ocean, but every year, fishing fleets getting $35 billion for free. And remember that none of the fish you eat actually the real value of you are paying, because somebody is paying already $35 billion to those guys to catch this fish. Plus, if they give us $16 billion annually, we will create more than 1 million jobs. As a ranger, as a guide. Why less than 1% is protected? Any idea? Because nobody knows, nobody cares. Because the ocean is there. We are here. It looks fine. It looks blue most of the time. It is not. Second, inefficient management models. None of the marine protected areas right now well managed because of lack of staff, lack of finance, and also wrong finance models. The existing MPAs are kind of black hole. You are just giving money but not getting back. What are the solutions? Global awareness. So you are here. Spread the news that we are coming. We are going to increase the marine protected areas. We have to. And new management models, which we already developed. And sustainable finance, this is the most crucial things every MPA should create. It is finance by itself. Let's come back to European side. Next year is 2020. Do you know what does that mean? This is the year where the Aichi targets comes. Aichi targets, which were set up in 2011 in the city of Japan, Aichi, marine protected areas should cover at least 10% of the coastal national waters of every country signed Aichi targets. Where are we? In Mediterranean, center of civilization, we are at now 6%. But if you look at the no fishing zone, we are at 0.04. We are not even 1%. We are not even getting closer to 1%. So why not? In the meantime, this is Cape Kinidos, right entrance of the Gyokowa Bay. This is Gyokowa Bay. Actually, this lighthouse is the border of Aegean Sea and Mediterranean. This is ancient city Kinidos. Kinidos has 2 ports. These are all ancient ports. This port opens to Aegean Sea and this port opens to Mediterranean. If you haven't been there, don't miss. And it's going to be another marine protected area soon, hopefully. Come back to Gyokowa. So we came to the community, which lost 60% of their income. Okay, this is the end of the line. There is no way to go worse than that. What I suggested them, which we did before in Philippines, Indonesia, Belize, in many other countries, establishing no fishing zones, very carefully selected, because these are all nursery grounds or spawning grounds, and a giant prohibited area for trolling and pursening. After a year of negotiations with over 200 community members, finally, we approved these areas, 6 no fishing zones altogether, 30 square kilometers, and prohibited trolling and pursening area is the largest in European Union, 270 square kilometers. Sustainable fishing was the most important thing for the community because half of the community were women. There are more than 100 professional fisherwomen in Gökova Bay, nowhere else in the world. And we decided to separate them because most of them work with their husbands, some of them working alone, but they are really hardcore fisherwomen, and more than 300 days in a year they are working in the sea. None of them know how to swim. None of them have any idea about women's rights. None of them have any social security. None of them have any winter clothes. So we decided to put them in a classroom. And we started giving them training about everything from women's rights to sustainable fisheries, marine conservation, microcredits, and everything. And at the end, what we learned, working with fisherwomen is much easier than working with fishermen. These ladies are the last generation in Mediterranean as a fisherwoman. None of them has any daughter or kids would like to be a fisherman or fisherwoman. So these ladies are working over 35 years on the sea. And I would like to just tell you one small memory of me with this lady because we donated them gold. We didn't want to give them money directly, not to break their hearts because it's a kind of bit rude. So that's why, as a tradition, we gave them winter clothes, sustainable fishing gears. We gave them special mattresses when they would like to sleep, and we gave them special life vests. Because of their breasts, they never use normal life vests. So this is the one we donated them is the special one. As soon as they fall in the water, automatically inflates. In the last 10 years, 2 ladies drowned because they never have life vests. So this lady, when I gave her gold, she starts crying. I said, "Why are you crying?" She said, "Last time I was given a gold from my mother-in-law and she gave it back right after the wedding." So that's why when you are working with the community, so you are become part of them, So we are a family now. So you are getting their trust first, then they are, you are offering your solutions for their better future. And who is going to protect these no fishing zones? That is the most important thing in all marine protected area. When we went to the Coast Guard, which is the official government organization in Turkey, they told us, we are just trying to save refugees in between Bodrum and Kos. We have no time, we have no boat, we have no staff to come and take care of your no fishing zones. So we decided to establish our own ranger team. We bought 3 speedboats. We offered job to community members who wanted to become volunteers, so they quit fishing. We have a training module. They have uniforms. They have speedboats. They have a communication with Coast Guard commanders. So we started enforcement by ourselves. It was costly, approximately $100,000 running just for the cost of enforcement every year in Gökova Bay. And first time in the world, because I don't know what is the efficiency of enforcement, we developed a software called Smart Marine Gökova Bay. So they have a special phones called Android CT5. The menus you can see here about any kind of illegal activity. They can choose from the menu, whether it's amateur or whether it's professional, whether it's fishing net or fishing line, whatever. And on real time, when I open my laptop, I can see where my rangers boat are, if they have any kind of infringement recorded, and I can immediately share this information with Coast Guard and prosecutors. So this is the first system in the world for marine rangers running through this in this way. And right now, 14 more countries ask from us to use the same software. And you see, this is the most important thing for me, because this is the report I can take daily, weekly, and monthly. I can see the areas where the illegal fishing activity is still going on and what kind of illegal fishing activities. Sometimes we are just forwarding more boats or asking government officials help to prevent worst case scenarios. And first time in the world, 3 years ago, we started with modified drones. We are surveilling by drones with special permission from government and governorship. We just send the drones first, and if something suspicious, then we immediately send our rangers. That saves almost 60% of our fuel, budget. And the most important thing, climate change monitoring. Now, the bad side of it. From Copernicus satellites, you can get the surface temperature for all over the world. But what's happening under the water? What's happening on stratification? That is the important thing for us. Because right now, more than 800 species of invasive species in the Mediterranean, and they are increasing. Look at this. We put temperature loggers every 5 meters down to 40 meters, and they synchronizingly record the temperature every hour. So this is 2015 recordings of temperature. So this red color is 30 degrees. Look at this. There is a thermocline level around 22 meters. And 2016, this thermocline goes to below 30. And 2017, it's about 40. And 2018, last year, it's even below 45. Just 4 years of data series telling us climate is changing, waters are warming up, and the worst of all, just take a look at this. During the May, normally the temperature was just in the last 3 years normal, but even in the May and November right now, the water temperature is higher than 25 degrees. What does that mean? This is coralligenous habitats, what we called in scientific term, all the sponges, Mediterranean corals, and other coral calcium carbonate building organisms live and thrive in normally colder waters than 20 degrees. If the water is warming up, these are all disappearing, and all these invasive species, which is originated from Red Sea and Indian Ocean, covering those. And worse than that, last year a catastrophe happened. Big mass mortality of Pinna nobilis, the world's largest bivalve, has amazing mass mortality. In Gökova Bay, they are only surviving below 34 meters. In whole Spain, there are 2 Pinna nobilis left. In whole Spain. And my wife is a marine biologist. She just luckily found a couple of dying samples. And we did all the research. And the Spanish colleagues did the same research. And at the end, the same results came out. A protozoa, a kind of parasite, just because of the high temperatures, which is invasive, killed all the bivalves in Mediterranean. And right after this episode, we established a mass mortality alarm group for whole Mediterranean. Okay, right now, not right now, but 3 years ago, there were 5 invasive species coming from Red Sea. These are rabbitfishes, white and black rabbitfish. This is brush-toothed lizardfish. This is Randall sea bream. And this is a red mullet, which is Nile red mullet, it is called. And they were so abundant, but nobody wants to buy it because nobody knows these fish. So we prepared recipes by famous chefs. We prepared a film, documentary film, and we had a big festival for the public. Over 300 kilos of this fish we cook and distribute. And before and after, we just prepared a behavior change, analysis reports. Do they like it? They would like to buy it. How much they can pay for it? And right after the festival was in May. Right after the festival, the incomes of cooperative, 30% of the cooperative income start coming from only one invasive species. One invasive species for 3 years was the backbone of the cooperative. So we have to bring all those invasive fish to the economy. Otherwise, impossible to get rid of them. Okay, and this is amazing story. This fish called pufferfish, in Latin, Lagocephalus scleratus. This is the most toxic fish in the world. If you can eat just one piece, you can die in 30 seconds. The toxic, which is called tetratotoxin, is 2,000 times more toxic than cyanide. And every fish has amazing amount of cyanide, TTX. And after our warning, because we gave the first sighting in 2002 in Gökova Bay for whole Mediterranean, and the government just prohibited catching this fish, and bringing it. But this is so carnivore. It's just big nuisance for fishermen in all Turkey. And I'm going to show you some results about you. There's a big loss of catch and all the fishing gears. These are the catch loss from the community all over. This is the average in euros, 400 euros damage to the gill nets only, approximately same damage to the longliners, but we have no idea how much is the catch loss. But this fish has something called TTX, the world's most expensive substance. 1 kilo of TTX is 450 million euros. There is nothing on this planet more expensive than TTX. And our team made a very complimentary study on the stomach content. From one fish stomach, we counted 37 hooks. Just can eat everything, even the leads, even the nets, even the small fish, big fish, doesn't matter. And about TTX, my wife did all the research on TTX. If you eat this fish, you are not suffering from poisoning. You are not suffering from, headache or stomach, ache. You are just suffering short of breath, and then you die. And if you arrive to the hospital reports, there are many cases in Turkey like that, heart attack. They never seen such kind of poison before, so your, death certificate says heart attack, which is not true. So every single fish that we work on has at least $500 of TTX. Who is going to use it? There is only one pharmaceutical company in the world got all the patents for the next 40 years. Here is the good news. Next year, a revolutionary painkiller is coming to the market. Could cure every kind of pain on the planet immediately. This is the revolutionary pill. So we are in contact for 5 years with this company. As soon as they introduce to the pills, which is going to come to the North American market, we will start catching fish, puffer fish from this ecosystem to the pharmaceutical industry in North America. And we have a big project, EU project, marine ecosystem restoration in changing European seas, because we have lots of invasive species, had a lot of damage on our ecosystem. When we established the no fishing zones, look at this picture. This is the sea bottom. Just long lines, discarded or lost, or fishing nets, nothing else. It is so much costly to clean up the long lines. Fishing nets are much easier, but long lines are big trouble. You have to follow them one by one. In 7 years, exactly the same location after protection, it turns into that. To prove the fishing community and the ministry that the growing groupers will leave no fishing zone and spill over the fishing ground, we had a crazy experiment. We implemented transmitters to groupers' stomachs, right? We sew them after we caught them, and we put receivers all around. This is a very expensive experiment, and all the receivers has an antenna with this GSM system. So if a grouper just passes one of the receiver sends a signal of that particular grouper to my laptop. So when I open my laptop in the morning, I can see where my groupers are every morning, or in the evening, or anytime. Luckily, we didn't lose any groupers during that experiment. We were lucky, I accept. And at the end of the 12 months, all the groupers we tagged just left the no fishing zone and spill over the fishing grounds. So we scientifically proved that when the fish gets bigger, it's just going around and for the deeper habitats. Remember the 4 grams per square meter for Gyokova. So we have 3 no fishing zone, and this is out of no fishing zone. So in English Bay no fishing zone in 2016, we are about 70 grams. In 2018, these are over 100. And the others, and even the outside of no fishing zone, which were 4 grams on the average, even the normal zone, without protection, we are above 14 now. And this is only for English Bay. This is the 2017 value. Look at the blues. All these blues are groupers and dentex and big fish. So right now, English Bay no fishing zone has the highest biomass in entire Mediterranean MPAs. In terms of groupers, we have amazing number of groupers within the no fishing zone. We have monitoring cameras without any bait, nothing, just recording continuously within the no fishing zones. And we are the only MPA in entire Mediterranean continuous presence of sharks, sandbar sharks. We have even prohibited the area where sandbar sharks coming for breeding. We have 6 monitoring cameras right now in a real time, just recording shark existence in the MPA. So after establishment, we have right now 8 monk seals. This year we have only 2 pups, and this is mother and pup. And comes landing values. I am in a commission in European Union called Blue Plan. What Blue Plan does, we are trying to bring scientific monitoring data into front of rule makers. How we can do that? So in the first meeting in France, we decided not to use any fisheries-related data in European Union because they are all fake. And last year, United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization had another project. Which country hides what amount of their catch? I don't want to give these numbers here, but let me tell you, 300%. Turkey is just hiding 60%, but there are countries in the West, you can't believe they are just hiding more than 300% their catch. So I decided to, because you cannot manage fisheries without real landing data. What is going on? So we developed another software and we trained local community in the cooperative. So this software, even their their hands in fishy, they can just click how many boats going for with treble nets or long lines, how many hooks they use, how much nets they use. And it automatically records also the fish they brought, how many kilos of different species. And at the end of the day, we can get the income of cooperative easily. I'm not doing anything. The cooperative guy is doing that, but it automatically comes to my computer. So first time in Turkey and first time in EU, we have 99.99% correct landing data. And at the end, you see, in 2010, when we started the project, income per boat was 1,485 Turkish liras. As of last year, the income per boat was 7,836. 5 months of 2019, this number is above 12,000 Turkish liras, which is higher than the governor's salary. There is no such example in Mediterranean. Small-scale fisheries income is just increasing like that. This is because in 2017, government has a ban on white grouper. So communities, 40% income was coming from white grouper. That's why we are expecting right now the ban has lifted. In this year, 13 to 14,000 liras per boat. And this is the white grouper. The community is 40% income. This is the biggest red mullet I have ever seen in my life, which is 860 grams. And coincidentally, 6 years ago, in Roman Empire's document, amazing data came out. 2,000 years ago, there was a red mullet species, which is 3 kilos, and so delicious, and it was so much overfished, it became so rare. Emperor Tiberius had a declaration in Anno Domini 45, saying that from now on, this fish is only going to be consumed by the imperial family. And the very next day, one red mullet was exchanged for a cow in the black markets of Rome. And that species has gone extinct 2,000 years ago. What are you talking about overfishing? We just pushed a species to extinction 2,000 years ago in Mediterranean. This is the only data we have coincidentally discovered from Roman Empire. God knows what else we have lost. We have no idea what Mediterranean looks like before human being. And our project was selected the best conservation project in the world 2 years ago. We won Whitley Gold Award. And last year, Endangered Landscape Program based in Cambridge University. And also there is a Cambridge Conservation Initiative with biggest NGOs in the world and Cambridge University. They offer us a large-scale ecosystem restoration for Turkey. And right now we have $3 million just to replicate our Gökova example in other special environment protected areas, as well as non-special environment protected areas. So we already started in January. Luckily, this time government has more supportive. So in the 5 years, if we manage to establish the no fishing zone that we put our project, Turkey will lead in terms of marine conservation in whole Europe. And we will exceed the IHG targets for the country. And this is our new model for the big project. And definitely Göcek and Fethiye Bay also included in the project with different stakeholders. We have tectonic marine caves in Sarıgerme and Aşı Bay. Dalyan and Patara beaches have special management issues coming, and also wetland. And for Ölüdeniz, we have a big no fishing zone and protection zone in front. And finally, the Lycine coast and Kekova area, we will have a different management and no fishing zone management plan for the area. So this is it. Thank you.